What's going on, guys? It is the MadGood Stock Watch, where we lay out 3 players, whether we want to buy them because they're doing better, sell them because they're doing worse, or we're going to hold because, you know, we're indifferent. So I'm going to start with Noah Vonleh. Buy. Fizdale has been going off about him being the most complete player on the team, and he's absolutely showed it game in and game out.
Is there something you want to tell us for?
That's hilarious. Fizdale has been talking about this guy game in and game out. He has shown it. He's been stuffing the stat line and doing a whole bunch of other crazy stuff. Next up, Alonzo Trier. I mean, how could you not buy this kid? He's been going off once again. I think he's going to stay on the up and up, regardless of these inconsistent games that he might have from time to time. Trier is my guy. We're going up on Trier. We're going to buy. And then finally, hate to do this one, but Frank Ntilikina. Hard sell, unfortunately. That doesn't mean I'm going to trade him, but right now, he's not doing anything right. He needs to learn how to shoot the ball and shoot it with consistency. He's had 2 seasons to do it in the NBA. We got to see a little bit of improvement. I'm just not seeing it. So, hard sell on Frank Ntilikina.
Like a time in my life
where you talked while I'm about to. Yeah, there was a time in your life.
Honorable, and then suddenly it was like dishonorable. Like, don't fucking show up and contaminate everyone. All right, sorry.
Buy, keep, and sell. I'm gonna do 2 buys and 1 sell. I'm gonna buy my man Alonzo Trier. That's just a no-brainer. He's a What happened?
What are you buying him?
What happened? Why am I buying him?
What are you buying him?
What am I buying him? That makes 0 sense to me. Anyway. My man Alonzo Trier, he's a refreshing pick. It feels good to have New York-esque basketball. It feels like we're playing in the Mecca again. I'm loving the moves. I'm loving the, got him left and right. Drive to the baskets. He's got balls, like I said before, and that's one of the rare players we have on the team. These guys are laughing behind me. I don't know why. The player that I'm going to go with selling is my man Mario Hezonia. He was hired on the New York Knicks to be that go-to role player. Unfortunately, he's been doing the exact opposite. And it sucks because, you know, I've had high hopes for him. He seemed like one of those go-to shooters. He seemed like a guy that could really fit in any sort of system. But unfortunately, even in a system that's in a development phase, he wasn't able to fit in. And another player that I'm buying is most definitely Enes Kanter. I think he is superbly underappreciated, even though he's dropping 20 points and having 20 rebounds a game. Like, let's not forget, he was on OKC. He was an incredible player for basically a championship team if they didn't lose to the Warriors by 3-1. So we have such a rare player. We have a gem. And I think that it's kind of, it's sad that it's so unappreciated. But I think that as time goes on and as we start developing players, he'll start shining even more than we expect. So that's what I think.
Welcome, Knicks Stock Watch. We're going to do some buying, selling, and holding. And I'm going to buy a little bit of that Mudiay, you know? That guy, he's come out of nowhere. He's had a resurgence. He even dunked in a game, which I feel like corrected all his previous sins. At least it felt like it in the moment. And he's been playing well. He's actually showing some flashes of ability to become our point guard at some point. So I'm going to buy some Mudiay. I'm going to hold on Hezonia. I know he's had his ups and downs as far as our opinions go on the team. But I keep saying that he's actually a talented player that can get to the basket, that can drive by guys and get open shots. It's just that he never executes and finishes. He gets like 95% of the way there, and that other 5% isn't refined enough. So I'm not ready to bail on him, but I think he's got some potential. And then I got to sell me some Frank. Again, I got to mirror what Farr said earlier. He's not ready to trade him, but the dude has really shown us absolutely nothing all season long, which is unfortunate because we're rooting for him. So right now, I'm selling that Frank stock, get some of my money back, feel a little better about myself. This Knicks season has been hurting so far. It's all part of the process. Trust the process. Oh, yeah, it's Philly, and they beat us. Never mind.
Gotcha. Yo, what up, guys? Your boy TK here. We're doing the stock watch really quick. First player I'm going to buy is my man Emmanuel Mudiay. Guys, cut it out. Mudiay has been killing it as of late since he's come back from injury. He's been highly impressive. I don't think any of us knew to the level of play that he was going to have, but he's doing really well. Mind you, I'm watching over my shoulders. I don't trust these guys. Next player. Before I get into that, can we just cut to, I love when my man Steph says, Hezonia. So I love that. But the next player I'm going to buy is Vonleh. I think he's been the most consistent Knick throughout the entire season thus far. He's a borderline walking double-double. He passes the ball as well as defends. It's a thing of beauty to see. Keep playing consistent, bro. We love it. And I am going to sell, this is no surprise, Frank Ntilikina. I'm borderline willing to just cut our losses at this point. I do still have faith in the kid. I just don't see how he fits into the Knicks' current plans with Trey Burke playing surprisingly well as of late and Mudiay obviously shocking us all. That's been it, guys. Peace.
This is the part where I think I give my name, but you should know it by now. So, buy, hold, sell. Buying Vonleh. I'm continuing what the rest of the guys are saying. This man is performing incredibly well, especially the fact that you have Fizz behind him saying he's the most complete player. I think that's something worth buying. Now, I think I feel like a rich man because I'm still going to continue with my investments on Alonzo Trier. I've been buying week after week, and guess what? I'm still buying this week. I think everyone's invested in him, and I'm going to invest the most. Last but not least, I'm still going to buy as well Emmanuel Mudiay. Mudiay. I think Emmanuel Mudiay. Imagine. So, I'm gonna invest. So I'm still gonna invest in this man. It's actually pretty cool to finally see him come around. He's come a long way, all the way from China. Yeah, that's right. I'm still remembering that. But guess what? From around the booty. Guess what? I think now we can change the segment to bye, bye, bye. See you guys. Bye, bye.
Yo, everyone's voice.
Welcome to the MadGood Knicks Show. I'm Far, that's TK, that's Pete. We're here to give you all the Knicks news all damn time. Check us out on Instagram. Please hit that like, comment, subscribe button. We're here to talk trade, guys. That's been a hot topic for the Knicks, whether you like to hear it or not. Some of our young guys, and in particular, we're going to talk about two of our sophomores here, have been rumored to be on the trade block. Let's talk first about Damien Dotson, guys. Pete, I'll start with you, man. Overall thoughts.
No, I'm just kidding.
Overall thoughts. That was so funny. Overall thoughts on Damyean Dotson?
God, I hate Far.
Whenever you have to talk about trades, particularly for the team that you like, it's an unfortunate part of the business of basketball. Obviously, it's a part of the game, and you have to sort of accept it. I think it's particularly hard for me because the two guys we're talking about, I really like. Dotson, I think, is an incredible player. He's a good defensive player, and he's probably our best pure shooter. Which is probably why he has
That's crazy. That's a good point, but that's pretty crazy.
Which is probably why he has value on the trading, block. So
real quick, his stats: 26 minutes, 10 points per game, 45% field goal, 4 rebounds. That's solid.
Yeah, there was that 4-game stint where he didn't get any playing time. Fizz kind of like took him. That was a little weird. And then he came back one game and did awesome the next game, and then the game after that, not so much. So he does have his ups and downs, but I completely understand why he's in the conversation. He's a good player, but I personally would not like to see him go. I think he's one of the guys that I think should stay just because I think he's kind of earned his keep over the last 2 years. So
he's just so solid.
That's the
I'm willing
thing.
to go out on a limb here and say that he's a Fizdale type of player. I don't think Dotson's going anywhere. Granted, he does have some value, but I think teams were interested and calling the Knicks because like we were curious to see and know why Dotson didn't play for 4 straight games. Not even a single minute. You know what I mean? So I think teams were just like doing the due diligence. They were like, all right, let's call the Knicks and see, let's gauge their interest in shipping him just for the time being. We still don't know. I don't know personally why he didn't play any of those games, but I think he's a Fizdale guy and I wouldn't be too concerned about trading him. I don't think he's available.
Here's a fun question though: is there anything that you would trade Damyean Dotson for realistically?
Anthony
Like,
Davis.
what's a trade? What's a trade?
Realistic.
Steph Curry.
Oh, okay.
What's a trade that you think that the Knicks would win that could possibly be realistic? Yeah, it would suck to kind of lose him, but in return we might get something good.
Well, why don't we talk about the rumor that was out there with the Orlando Magic? I mean, how do you guys feel
That's
about
Frank.
that? Oh. Okay. Well, you know, I'm gonna go now. Well,
Damien Dotson.
I'm really under the weather, so you'll have to forgive me,
It's all that cough medicine. I'd pet you on the head, but I don't want to catch it.
please.
Anything, TK, that you think would be a decent trade for Damien Dotson?
To be honest, no. I really like Dotson. I think he's a very hard worker. He's kind of molded himself into a 3-and-D type of guy. And I really feel like he fits this roster really well. At least what we're trying to go for. I don't know. I would just hate to trade him. There's nothing that I see that would be available that I would want in return for Dotson. You know what I mean? Second round picks aren't going to do us any good.
He was a second round pick, so
Right. I don't think we should.
I think he's like the quintessential what you're looking for
Right.
value-wise in
Exactly.
a second-round pick. He's on contract for one more year after this. He's getting paid about $1.3 million. So collectively, I mean, I agree with you. I don't think that there's a whole lot out there that I would want in return. To
Let me ask you guys this:
Dotson.
does
I
he
feel like
check
it'll be
all the
too-
boxes for you?
Not all the boxes, but
What box doesn't he check for you?
just I guess consistency as much.
He doesn't play.
He doesn't play.
He's consistent.
That's true. But he's more of an all-around player than a lot of the other Knicks are.
I love it.
Yeah.
So he's a two-way player. He plays defense, and you see it. He plays good defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the biggest guy on the court, but he definitely holds his own. But, you know, I would have maybe traded him potentially if we got a really great shooter back. But you see, like, guys like Kyle Korver who just got traded, they demanded a lot for him. Like, those top-tier shooters are super valuable in today's three-point shooting NBA. So
But it's like we don't really need that right now.
we don't need that right now, and I don't think we get something like that for Dotson. We probably get a comparable talent, but given how committed Dotson is to the Knicks, I'd rather have him already.
Yep.
He's already there. I'd rather stick with him.
And he's proven his work ethic. This guy isn't going to fold over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He cannot play a couple of games and still come out hot.
Agreed.
So,
I encourage you
there's no
guys to go and check out our Damyean Dotson video when he was drafted, because we called kind of what he's doing right now,
yeah,
which is
for
a
sure.
three-point shooter, a defensive guy, and just an all-around very solid and sound player. He was in college the whole way through, so he wasn't like a one-and-done, two and CU guy.
We know what you meant.
Let's talk about what Pete, the Orlando Magic.
Yes,
thing.
let's talk about the Orlando Magic.
Oh, yeah, so I was saying, Frank, right?
Let's talk about what Pete, the Orlando Magic.
Yes,
thing.
let's talk about the Orlando Magic.
Oh, yeah, so I was saying, Frank, right? Orlando?
Ntilikina. This is
There
an
you go.
interesting one
So I
because I
could've-
think he right now is the most polarizing Knick
Yes.
out there, and that sucks to say. So I'll leave it. I'll open the floor up. T.
So, as we all know, Frank has been struggling as of late. The Orlando Magic had a couple of scouts recently checking in on Frank at the Sixers game the other day, and they appear to have some interest in him, which is news to us. Now, my question to you guys, aside from the whole Orlando Magic thing, is it time to pull the plug on Frank? How much faith do we have in him?
As a fan, when I read the rumors that the Knicks brass were kind of starting to get over Frank, I was actually surprised and a little bit disappointed because I thought Fizdale and that crew would actually be the type of person, the type of people, the type of unit that would kind of push Frank and see the value in him. But another telling sign for me was when they asked Fizdale about Mitchell Robinson and Kevin and Knox potentially going to the G League, and they didn't ask about Frank. And Frank is, you know, as
But
raw
what he
and
said about that in particular was very interesting. He
It was.
said, "No, we want to keep all of our guys together,
that's right.
and we're in this together," which leads me to
think that's a
believe.
mistake.
Which leads me to believe that Frank might have that on his side. Look, at the end of the day, Frank Ntilikina, I'll say this.
How much time do we have on this? Because I really need to get on in depth.
You may get in depth. We will allow it. So with Frank Ntilikina, one person I will trust is Tony Parker. When last year he said, "Look, Frank is going to be a very, very good player, but I don't think that the Knicks fans," or he said something along those lines, "I don't think the Knicks fans have the patience for it," or "We'll see if the Knicks fans have the patience for it."
Yeah.
That's something.
That's
something I do want to kind of trust there. That's one. Two, Frank Ntilikina is in the position that he needs to be in right now with a team that isn't really having a direction to go out for a playoff spot, despite what Trey Burke said, or go out for a championship. They're really in a rebuilding phase where they're experimenting a lot of ways, i.e. putting him at small forward, putting him at point guard. We really haven't found it out, but we're only 20 games into the season.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to need at least 10 minutes on this. 20 games into the season. Okay, I got it. Let me put this as a disclaimer first. I'm a Frank Ntilikina fan. As you guys know, I predicted the drafting of him. But let's get further in depth, right? You said Tony Parker said that, the Knicks fans may not have enough patience to deal with him. For the most part, guys, I think Knicks fans have been extremely patient with Frank Ntilikina, especially this season.
I could point out two guys in this room that haven't been patient.
But the majority as a whole, you know what I mean? I think we see that something could be unlocked. But my thing is, more so than the fans, the management may not have the patience to deal with Frank Ntilikina. It's almost a perfect storm at this point, which is kind of working against him. He hasn't been producing when called upon, and he has guys ahead of him that do his job better than him. So it's not like just one veteran who's like, okay, you have some time, there's a placeholder, a Jarrett Jack, mind you. We don't have that anymore. We have guys like Trey Burke, who's hungry. We see him, he'll be off for a couple games and then burst with 30 points.
He does his job off the bench.
He does his job off the bench. We have Emmanuel Mudiay, who's been a revelation the past couple games that he's started. He's hungry. We have Trier, who's been running the point guard. Where does this leave Frank?
We got Ron Baker.
And I think, what the interesting aspect of this, guys, is if we look further in depth here, the Knicks, when they started the season, there was no talk of Frank running the point guard. There was talk of positionless basketball, and he started at small forward. So right then and there, that should tell you the Knicks didn't view him as a future piece of the plan, as a starting point guard on their franchise.
I think you could read that multiple ways.
I don't think you can. Point blank being, 20 games into the season, we haven't seen much of Frank.
Because he's not good right now. I don't think it had anything to do with them, being forced out of the position.
Okay, so he started at small forward, lost his starting gig, right? He was backup shooting guard, lost his gig. He started at point guard, didn't produce, lost that gig. They're running out of options here, and it's kind of getting a little embarrassing.
They are running out of options, but
it's getting a little embarrassing.
I don't think that they already had it kind of planned out. Like, let's put him at small forward because there's zero plans to put him at point guard.
Why in the world did he not start the season off as the starting point guard?
100%. The reason was because they wanted to try him at small forward. I genuinely think that was the reason. You're in a position to do that when you're the Knicks.
Are you in a position to do that? You drafted him to be the point guard of the future, but you have him starting at small forward?
I think this season of all seasons, yes, you're in a position to do that.
I think that was a defensive choice, to be a perimeter defender.
Did that work for us?
Weirdly enough, I think he looked better at the very beginning of the season, and I kept kind of saying, I kept waiting for him to have his Mudiay moment, like last year, this year, and he keeps not having it. And honestly, the fact that his shooting has been really, really bad is a huge liability. If he was just hitting a shot here and there, but it seems like he's missing almost everything. All the time. And that's rough because then he's kind of like, when someone's a defensive liability, they're a great scorer, but you can't keep them in the game because they can't defend. Like, Ntilikina's the other way around. He's a good defender, but it's like you can't keep him in the game because he can't score.
Pete, you know what's funny about that?
And if you can't score at all, you know what happens? The defense starts not respecting you. They back off. They crowd the paint, and now...
Which he's missing
already stifled defenses. He misses wide open shots. I don't know if I trust Parker. Maybe there's a little bit of French bias going on around there. But I have more faith in Frank than trading him this year. That's all I want to say.
He's got 2 more years on his contract.
I just don't think.
But I'm not completely outside of. Oh, we can't trade Frank at all. I understand.
Pete, really quickly, you just said he's a good defender, but he's obviously not good enough to be late in games.
That's true.
That's the scary part, guys.
That's true.
We always praise Frank's defense, but he's not there in the fourth quarter. He's not there to end the games. He's not, you know what is even funnier? Fizdale hasn't even utilized him to guard the best perimeter scorer on the other team.
He believes that much in Hardaway and wants to prove a point that he won't even put his best perimeter defender on. They don't have any faith in Frank, guys. I'm sorry to break it to you. The person who drafted Frank isn't even part of the franchise anymore. Mills was torn. I'm sure Mills wanted DSJ.
All in all,
they didn't want Frank.
That's the obvious.
That was
answer.
Frank's choice.
Are you saying that that's it? Trade Frank?
No, the thing, I don't want to trade Frank. Do I think, that's what I was saying before. I think fans are willing to be patient. I don't think management is. I think management is like, yo, we don't have a place for this guy right now on the court.
Are we gonna blame any of this on just like the New York media?
No,
here?
not at all. He's been playing. And
No, of course. No, I'm not arguing any of that.
We're not over-exaggerating
He
about
looks
that,
bad. I'm talking about these trade rumors and looking bad on management because I still don't believe the point you're making. The point you're making about the small forward thing, him starting that. I really don't think it had anything to do.
It has to be.
I don't think it did because
if you want somebody to be the best player they want, you play them at their best position.
I completely agree, except for the fact that the Knicks are in this bizarre situation where they're rebuilding, where they had 4 point guards to start the year. And you know what? Why not put this kid who's 6'6", 6'7" at small forward to see if he could at least play defense on NBA small forwards?
I think it's probably a little bit of both. I kind of agree with Far here. I think maybe it was just an experiment because we've seen a lot of weird lineups with Fizz this year. And maybe they're trying to figure out where Frank... But I see what you're saying because... Obviously, there's a little bit of resignation to the fact that, like, okay, he's not going to be our point guard.
Right.
Obviously, there's a little bit of that, because otherwise it would have been like, oh, this is the clear choice. And maybe there's a little bit of that, like, he feels like old hat already, because Knox is the new guy, Mitchell Robinson, Vonleh. There's a lot of new guys on the block that are, like, kind of impressing us.
I don't think his French nature can handle the pressure.
And Frank just kind of feels like...
That's funny.
The Phil era right now. He's starting to feel like the Phil era.
You know what I liked about his mentality was the fact that he wasn't going to be a player that shows off, that he wasn't going to get swallowed up by New York media. With that said, in terms of basketball competition, it's starting to show.
I see what you guys are saying. That maybe it was just an experimental thing, but can we all agree on that it's completely backfired? And now
I don't think it's completely backfired. I just think Frank hasn't gotten any better.
Has he played small forward again? No.
Well, the experiment backfired because he's like not playing that much, period.
But that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. That's why
backfired would mean it genuinely hurt us. I don't think it genuinely hurt. I think it genuinely hurt Frank.
That's what I'm saying. It backfired on the kid's potential. They're obviously, objectively, it wasn't meant to. They thought they put him in the best position possible. It's backfired.
I saw a tweet that said that he's not playing well because he's not getting enough playing time.
That's it?
I saw a tweet that said that, and it made me think about it for a second, but I feel like over the last...
Like, Dotson's not getting enough playing time, minutes are inconsistent. I'm not really buying that.
I didn't buy that. I think he's gotten enough of an opportunity over his career in the Knicks to show something.
And then also, let's keep in mind, he's 20.
Yo, what do we have to lose by putting him in the G League? Because you guys know, you guys will test this, I've been a huge fan of putting Frank in the G League.
Since last year.
Absolutely needs
I think, again, the one thing that we will lose is see how his mentality is kind of shaking
we have
right
nothing
now.
to lose at this point. It doesn't matter.
I know, exactly.
He's
you
on
see
the
how
cusp of jumping off a bridge.
I'm just answering your question right now. You see how his mentality is shaking right now, even being in the NBA. What's going to happen if he actually goes to G League? Like, I feel like we completely lost him if he
boost him up. Give him 40
And you know what's
minutes
crazy?
a night.
I think that I do think here's what the Knicks front office realizes: if they put him in the G League and homeboy isn't averaging double digits, that is the biggest fail ever.
But what
and I feel like that is realistic.
So
to happen
okay, so
too.
you know
And
what
then
happens
his trade value is gone.
Zilch.
It's like, this dude sucks in the G League even,
You know what happens?
who's going to take him?
You cut your losses. If that's what they're worried about, if they're worried about putting him in the G
But I
League,
don't
no. If they're worried about putting him in the G League and he bombs it, they're like, okay, let's cut our losses now before we embarrass him some more.
And that would mean trade.
That would mean a trade. It's very unfortunate, guys, but I don't think the Knicks management view Frank as a long-term solution at any position.
We'll end it with that. Let us know in the comments. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, we started out in support of Frank. It sounds like at the end we all want to trade him. That's what it's like.
It's got like
embarrassment comes.
Everything is kind of adding up to like the mentality isn't working out. We try him in the G League. At this point, it's like if you're not going to be patient and just like keep on him in the NBA and ease him into it.
Bench?
Honestly, I don't know.
Minutes to go around. These people are playing
That's
well.
the thing. That's the thing. It's like if he starts losing minutes, then they really have to consider something else.
And just really quick before we end it, Fizdale has stuck true to his word. He's played other than the past 4 games with Dotson, it's a little weird. Yeah, you keep what you kill. And Frank hasn't killed shit. So he's dead. He's keeping air on the bench right now.
Yeah.
He's keeping that seat warm. It's very unfortunate, but Fizz did say what he set out to do.
I just don't know how he's so bad at shooting when like that's your profession.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
know.
bro, you're wide open in the corner. You're wide open from 12, 10 feet out. Hit the shot.
And you know what's funny? We have seen him integrate like a nice little dribble, turnaround, fade away. But the open shots are like bricks, bro. What happened?
Anyway, let us know in the comments. This has been pretty heated. Heated, but like, I don't, we weren't really arguing. I think we all kind of came to the same conclusion.
Oh, just emotional about
Something's
Frank.
up right now.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments what you think. Please like, comment, subscribe while you're at it. We love you guys, and we love the Knicks. Let us know your thoughts. Peace.